Hey everyone, it's Professor Fiction, and today we're going to be talking about Dragon Ball Z and One Punch Man. In particular, we're going to be talking about Goku and Garou and if they face down in an equal stats showdown. So now, you're probably wondering, what is equal stats? Equal stats is a term commonly used in some versus battles in which both characters involved have equal power, speed, durability, in some cases even stamina. From there, it becomes a judgment of who is the more skilled fighter. Hacks and technique has more precedent over calculations, or mathematics, or power scaling, so I found a fight between Goku and Garou to be particularly interesting. Goku being one of the most popular anime characters in all of history and a master martial artist to boot, and Garou being a more new competitor to the martial arts anime scheme. The inner martial arts fanboy inside me just had to know who would win in a fight between these two powerhouses. Though, in an actual fight with proper stats, obviously current Goku would obliterate Garou. However, at some point I might do teen Goku when he's 18 versus Garou, who also happens to be 18, with Garou being in his monster prime and Goku being when he fought Piccolo in the Tenkaichi Budokai. That fight will be more based on power and speed. Maybe if you guys like this video or you want to see it in the future, I'll cover that fight. With that in mind, let's get started. In order to analyze both Goku and Garou, we'll start with a training history of both of them. We'll start with Goku since it's far more expanded and it'll take a lot longer to talk about. Goku started his training under his adoptive grandfather Gohan, a legendary martial artist who knew numerous fighting styles. Goku from here would learn his basic hand-to-hand techniques, such as his rock-paper-scissors technique in Kung Fu, which he would use against Yamcha. After that, he'd train under Master Roshi, and while Master Roshi would mostly teach him strength training, Goku's fighting style would often be recognized as Master Roshi's, whether because Gohan taught it to him back in the day or because he learned it from Master Roshi. From Roshi, Goku would learn the Kamehameha, which focuses all of his dormant energy into a single focused blast. Goku creates and learns numerous variants of the Kamehameha, such as the Super Kamehameha, which over doubles his power level. Goku also learns the afterimage technique from Roshi during their battle and creates the Mad Monkey Fist to counter Roshi's Drunken Fist. However, Roshi personally still thinks that he's superior to Goku in many facets of skill, so it's unlikely he actually caught up to the Great Master. Korin teaches Goku to read his opponent's moves before they make them, as well as advances his martial arts as is, as Korin was the original master of Master Roshi. It's around here that Goku's fighting skill is considered masterful, as he can easily see flaws in the stance of King Choppa, a legendary martial artist that even Roshi comments on, and his fighting stance is depicted as having no openings. Seeing as Tien could contend with Master Roshi and Roshi even questions if he could beat Tien at full power, then Goku and Tien have an almost even battle with it favoring Goku slightly. It's not all too questionable to say that Goku's overall skill level is comparable to Master Roshi's, with Master Roshi in an interview with Akira Toriyama calling himself the best in martial arts and easily slapping a 30th level black belt with a single pressure point strike which completely paralyzes him. Goku then trains under Kami and Mr. Popo where he learns how to attack while being completely calm, and how to sense air movements around him to predict his opponent's attacks. He even learns some Namekian fighting styles such as the air blast that he uses with his fists that he mostly later uses with Ultra Instinct. He also of course learns how to fly during this time. Goku's training under King Kai really won't apply here, as the Kaioken amps his stats and won't be allowed for the versus battle, and the Spirit Bomb really won't be useful here. Goku then trains under the Yardrats for a few years where he learns Spirit Control, which increases his overall ki control as shown in Dragon Ball Super, as well as Instant Transmission. Normally Instant Transmission wouldn't really work on many other verses, however One Punch Man explicitly does have chi, even though these probably aren't the exact same kind of chi as characters in One Punch Man aren't throwing around energy blasts all the time. We will just equalize them for simplicity's sake, so Goku can use Instant Transmission on Garou. Whis advances Goku's hand-to-hand, as well as teaches him the basic of self-movement, which he later masters during the Tournament of Power. Even if you don't think Goku normally caught up to Roshi during the events of Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z, in terms of skill at least, in the manga it's pretty explicit that Ultra Instinct does surpass Roshi in terms of skill, especially currently in the manga where Goku has advanced it to a far greater level. Though we are mainly using anime Goku, it is worth mentioning. Goku has a myriad of other abilities, including basic ki attacks such as ki blasts, ki balls, energy waves, the Destructo disc, ki mines, etc. He's learned the solar flare, which can blind people, the Mafuba, which is a sealing technique a lot like moves in Naruto. As seen in Dragon Ball Super Broly, he's able to bind Broly with his own ki. In the manga, Goku does have an imperfect form of the Hakai, which he used against Fuse Zamasu. However, we are going off of anime Super Goku, not manga Super Goku. Though, if you really want to use manga Super Goku instead, you could use that to take into consideration. At a young age, Garou visited Bang's dojo in City Z. He quickly became Bang's top student in the way of the Water Stream Rock Smashing Fist, a defensive martial art which focuses on nullifying, deflecting, or redirecting attack power back at the opponent. After receiving a beatdown from Garou, Tank Top Master explains that Garou used this technique to target his joints and incapacitate him, as well as hitting him back with twice his own strength. As shown when Garou fought Metal Bat or when Bang fought Darkshine, this technique allows fighters to keep up with characters much stronger than they are physically speaking. However, as many others put it, Garou never refined this fighting style to the same extent Bang did, as Bang is able to use this technique subconsciously, while Garou has to force himself to do it. 6 months before the start of the series, Garou decides to manhandle all of his fellow students and abandons the dojo after receiving a beatdown from Bang. From here, he starts his own training for 6 months. During this time, he takes part in the Super Fight Martial Arts Tournament, which is explained as a gathering of all the top martial artists. However, the skill level of these martial artists can be questioned, as even Churanko, who is described as Bang's weakest pupil back in Garou's day, was allowed to participate in the tournament. Garou also crushes numerous dojos and copies all their martial arts, adding to his own repertoire of fighting styles. Garou then embarks on his hero hunt where he fights many different fighters, including experienced gunmen and master level fencers. During his battle with Watchdog Man, he picks up his bestial fighting style, which was able to fondle Garou's normal fighting style. This bestial fighting also proved to be slightly more effective against Silverfang and even Genos when he was fighting them. He also picks up the Whirlwind Iron Cutting Fist, a ranged offensive martial art which shoots blasts of razor-sharp air to cut his opponents. He later fuses this with the Water Stream Rock Smashing Fist to create the Cross-Fang Dragon Slaying Fist, which even Silverfang is unable to perform on his own. As Garou finally becomes a true monster, he fuses all of his fighting styles into one, the Monster Calamity God Slaying Fist, which he explains as having no weak spots as he easily dismantles most of the S-Class heroes. He may have also copied the moves of Flashy Flash, one of the most skilled S-Class heroes and a reputable martial artist, whose talent stands out even among other ninjas who are highly trained. Other abilities Garou has includes Enhanced Senses, as he's able to somewhat see in total darkness, as well as being able to dodge attacks in his blind spots. As well, he can sense a killing aura from people in a completely different room from he is when he's not able to see them. As a monster, he develops pretty bare bones regeneration abilities, such as regenerating arms and from lethal blows that Darkshine gives him. He might also be able to interact with energy, as Bang has been shown to interact with energy blasts against Overgrown Rover, meaning Goku's normal ki attacks probably won't be super effective against Garou. Now let's get on to the actual fight. Regarding who is better hand-to-hand, it's highly debatable when it comes to Goku and Garou. When it comes to experience, Goku has it hands down. By the time Goku was just 12 years old, he'd already been training with Grandpa Gohan almost since he arrived on Earth, then continuing to fight and train up until his 40s in Dragon Ball Super, and still doing so even now. Whereas Garou is more so in his late teens, and most of the training we know about has only been the last 6 months and after. Garou probably has more skills when it comes to hitting pressure points or joints and stuff like that. However, Goku does have some resistances to attacks like that, as seen with his fight with Nam back in early Dragon Ball, and even later with Hit in Dragon Ball Super. Goku should also be no slouch when it comes to pressure points, if he scales to Roshi in skill at least. Garou more than likely has better experience against opponents who are physically stronger than he is, such as Saitama or Metal Bat. Both have air-based attacks, such as Garou's Whirlwind Iron Cutting Fist, and Goku's Air Blasts. Goku's Air Blasts clearly have much better range, whereas Garou seems to be more potent, in my opinion. However, that is debatable as well. Garou packing a variety of numerous different fighting styles shouldn't be too much for Goku, as Goku's fought the likes of Cell, who should have the fighting styles of all his previous opponents, as well as trained under Grandpa Gohan, who was a master in numerous different styles of martial arts. I already know a lot of people are going to bring up Garou's performance against Saitama. For those who haven't read the webcomic, Garou is able to keep up with Saitama using his insane prediction and martial arts abilities. He does this despite Saitama being able to blitz him and surpass his own reactions in his own words. This sounds super impressive and all, however, Goku might actually have a better feat than this when it comes to prediction. During the events of Dragon Ball Super, Goku was capable of predicting the attacks that Hit would make against him. For those who forgot, Hit is a time-skipping assassin whose time skip functions more like time stopping, kind of like Dio from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. This is above a simple blitz, as normally blitzing would just be moving faster than the eye could see. This is quite literally moving in stopped time, yet Goku is still able to predict his moves before he hits him in his base form. On top of this, Hit is extremely skilled, as he can somewhat keep up with Blue Goku when it comes to raw hand-to-hand. He is skilled in targeting vital points, as he's shown when he fought Vegeta and Goku. So, compare Goku reacting to a time-skipping assassin with extreme skills on par with a younger Garou most likely, to Garou fighting against an amateur Saitama who was simply blitzing him in terms of raw speed. When you really think about it critically, Goku's feat is a lot more impressive than Garou's. I can't really say for sure who is definitively more skilled without starting a super flame war in the comments. Personally, I'd give it to Goku, however, it is definitely debatable. So, when it comes to hand-to-hand, you could make a case for either one winning against each other in raw hand-to-hand. However, when it comes to Garou, that's really where it ends. Goku massively outranges Garou with his ki attacks. His ability to fly also gives him far greater range than Garou could ever hope, as when Goku fought Beerus, they were fighting in the stratosphere near space, which Garou would never be able to reach. Garou's regeneration, while useful, won't really amount to much in the long run, as Goku would be able to completely vaporize him with a Kamehameha, and Garou has only been shown able to regenerate from lethal wounds or missing arms. Even if you did think that Garou could regenerate from the atomic level, as it's explained in the Daizenshu that Trunks reduced Frieza to atoms, Goku also has other counters to regeneration, such as the Mafuba seal, which he was going to use against Zamasu. His instant Kamehameha attack, which he used against Cell, should also work, as Cell, who was relatively skilled as Goku, and both were pretty even when it comes to speed and power, just like in this debate, Cell was completely unable to counter this attack and his entire upper body was vaporized. While Garou does have some pretty good IQ feats, Goku has far longer history and experience when it comes to fighting, and isn't such a slouch when it comes to IQ in battle as one would assume. Goku's been shown effectively outsmarting Frieza and Jiren. Goku's strategies mostly would work, such as the Ki Mine or the Kienzan trick. Goku's win conditions basically are this: BFR with instant transmission, sealing with the Mafuba, chopping him in half with the Destructo Disc, vaporizing him with ki attacks, or simply outranging him and winning the battle of attrition. And Goku would be able to accomplish all of this with his far greater versatility and variety of techniques. In conclusion, Garou might have better hand-to-hand, however Goku has better precog, better abilities, better range, more hacks, and more experience. The winner is Goku. Well, that definitely took a long time to make.